Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the official Hermitcraft Modsauce server. That is ridiculous. I love these elevator blocks. They are ever so cool. And in the last episode we built this farm right here, which is also very cool. It has been doing a fantastic job. It hasn't really needed any alterations or changes or anything like that. It has been working like a charm, which is amazing. And the whole reason that we built this farm is to get ourselves lots of charcoal so we can turn it into RF power, which is going to be the focus of this episode. We're going to be making RF power from the charcoal, and that'll help us power the portals, or at least I thought it would, because in the video that I watched doing some research on those portals, it said that you needed RF power to use it. Now we are a little disconnected from one another at the moment because you guys have probably already pointed that out to me in the comments, but unfortunately because of the vanilla reset I have to record all of my Modsauce videos a little earlier because there's nothing for me to do on that server at the moment. So I'm just recording a lot of Modsauce at the moment, having loads of fun doing it, but I don't like it when we're so disconnected because you guys would have told me and we would have skipped all of this. But you know, having a power source is good because it means we can create the assembly table, which is important in the tech tree, and then it means we're going to have a quarry plus, which is going to be very useful for doing our quarrying around here. So it's certainly going to be a good thing overall. So we're going to do that this episode. Hopefully next episode we'll then be setting up the portals. But a couple more things that I want to show you. Over here I've been trying to power the red alloy wire on the server. Me and Sci Guy Ryan have just been sharing ideas, trying to figure out how you can get this to be powered. But for some reason there's a bug, it just doesn't want to be powered no matter how many ways we try it. So that means we can't really compact the redstone stuff down here and make the on-off switch a little bit more efficient, because at the moment what I have to do is go around and remove the redstone and the redstone torches, and apparently the torch has disappeared from there. And what I normally do is just remove the redstone, because otherwise this thing will continue to harvest them when they grow naturally, which is something we don't want when this farm is turned off. Although it's not necessarily a bad thing. When it's off you want it to be off, not half on. So we haven't been able to use the red alloy wire to compact all the wiring down there, but that's not a big deal at the moment. This thing does work, so we can move on to the next thing. And to do this, what we're going to need is a whole bunch of furnace generators. Here they are right now. We actually used 4 of the ones above this that do 8 times the speed. You see it says power multiplier. The next one up does 8 times the amount of that, but DMAC was telling me that it was really efficient to do it that way. So what we're going to do is build an absolute ton of these and build a big array of them, and then we're going to turn all of that charcoal into RF power. We can then use that to make an assembly table and get ourselves a quarry plus, which is awesome. One of the other things you guys have told me from the comments, by the way, is why did all of the saplings go into this chest right here? They have different IDs and it was kind of confusing for me. Turns out the ore dictionary, the way it groups the different ores together from the different mods, that actually does the same thing for saplings, which is good. So all the sapling types will go into the same chest, which is exactly what I wanted. So that worked out pretty well. So what we're going to be doing right now is building a corridor. You know, we have a few rooms already figured out in our base. We've got the portal room over there, the control room, we've got the storage room down below, but what we need is a corridor that's going to lead to all the other little rooms we need for projects. You know, whenever we do something like what we'll be doing today, we need its own individual room. That's the way I want to do this base. It's going to be really nice to walk around a pretty base to all the different places. So the corridor is going to go right here, and I've been on my Plot World server, you know, figuring out some designs, working on something, and we're going to have a nice long corridor that's going to have lots of doorways. They won't always be used, but then we can walk down the corridor, go into a doorway, and then there'll be space behind it to build a room. So that is the plan. The next thing for me to do is to start working on that corridor, and then once it's complete we can move on to doing some of the more technical stuff. But for now I've got to do a little bit of building. So the floor is in place. It's not the most exciting thing to look at, but I would like to just quickly talk about how this is going to work. Our corridor is going to be quite long and repetitive, and we're going to have spaces for doorways every so often. Now, not all of these will be used. Some of them might be closed off doorways, and the reason why is because our rooms might be quite big. So if we had a big one here and it overlapped with the one on this side, then we wouldn't need a doorway here. So the plan would be to have a path like this, and then when there's a doorway we'll extend it off on the side. Now for the ground, what I've used is cobblestone, and then I put these stone bits here next to the doorways. So what we could do is replace this with a coloured block. Now I'm thinking that this hallway or corridor, whatever you want to call it, could be quite long and repetitive, so some colour coding may help with that right there. And another little detail that I wanted to talk about, the lighting in this room it's going to come from the sides and the ceiling. I want to keep this corridor quite moody, but if you look at that right there, these are iron blocks. I've actually used the covers which you make with the saw, and that's to save resources, but it also means we can plop down some torches below. Now these are supposed to look like vents in the ground, and this certainly adds to the effect right there, doesn't it? Although it also provides a lot of light as well. So I might play around with that a little bit more. Maybe what we'll do is we'll put some redstone torches underneath, and then it won't provide so much light, but yeah, we'll play around with that once we've got the lighting in place. So the next thing for me to do is to build up these walls. Alright, let's head up there and have a look. This is going to look real nice. Check this out. I love how this corridor looks. Even though it's not finished, you can see it's starting to come together. We're using these marble pillars, by the way. Check these out in the chisel mod, because all you need is marble to craft them, and then you get a load of pillar blocks which actually connect up. So I could show you right now, actually. So the original texture is just like that, and when you place another one it goes upwards. You can do them side by side as well, which is pretty cool. They are awesome, and I put them to good use in this room right here. So at the moment we've got some holes in the walls. I wanted to show you what I'm going to do right here. I did play around with a lot of stuff. I tried putting some glowstone behind these blocks and actually putting some white stained glass in them, which was really interesting, but I think the best one was this one right here, where we use these Tyrian, the future blocks or whatever they're called. And that looks pretty cool. This is kind of an unusual shape as well, but I really wanted to add some depth to the wall where I could. And you know what? I've just realised something. I don't have the right blocks on me, but if you take the normal blocks, the normal carpenter's ones, the size of the square, you can turn them into half blocks with a hammer, but you can also turn them on this side, so you can have a half slab that's on the wall. And I think I'm making a hash of describing that, so let me finish making these walls, and I'll grab one of those and show you. And there we go. Doesn't that look lovely? I really like this. This is a very cool looking room. I might actually take these out and try them with the half slabs. And I just remembered that of course we can access everything through our ender chest system. So what we're looking for is building. We want that chest right there because that has the correct thing in. And then in the tools chest we also have our hammer. There it is. So let me show you this quickly. If I place this down, let's say there, and we hit it on the top, it's going to become a half slab. If we hit it on the side, it becomes a half block like that. So that's what I'm talking about. I think I'm going to try that quickly, actually. We'll do this little section here and see what it looks like. That is pretty impressive as well, isn't it? I think I like this one more. I can't make up my mind, though. They are both very, very nice. I've got a feeling this is going to win it. But for now, I think what I'll do is just let it sit there, walk up and down this corridor, start working on the roof, and I'll make up my mind. But I'm pretty sure, actually, this is going to win it. That looks absolutely lovely. And there it is, with the ceiling in place. This really does look complete. I do like this very much so. The half blocks in the wall they won as well, they certainly looked better. And these textures right here, you may recognise this from the portal room that we did. We'll go up there and look at that in a moment. I also wanted to just show you this as well. This is what the doorway looks like if it's not being used, whereas on the other side it will have a path that goes through. And down the end here it looks a little bit odd because it just kind of ends, so I'm probably going to build a temporary wall. But if we go up the top here, you'll see that these are iron blocks and these are the covers. Now I don't have a lot of iron at the moment, mainly because my smeltery is all the way back at the old base, and I've got to say, making these covers, it really does save a lot of blocks, and I think I'm going to do it more often like what we've done with the glowstone here. Otherwise we would have certainly run out. In fact, we are running a little bit low on the glowstone, and I do like to use that as a light source in these builds. So anyway, just a little bit of building to do at the end here, but then this thing is going to be ready for us to build yet another room on the other side, in which we're going to put our generators and start working on that RF power. So for a temporary end to the corridor, that doesn't look too bad, although the closer you get to it you can see it's kind of haphazardly put together really. But if we go over here, I have built the other room, and I've got to say I don't think this path is going to work. I'm probably going to fill this in with something else because I made the floor out of this concrete material. Now if we go in here, it's a little bit moody, it's a little bit dark in here, but it's going to look awesome when we finish this room. Now I've used limestone in here because limestone is a little kind of dirty and muddy looking, and that mixes with the concrete quite well. But I wanted this room to have that kind of look and feel because it's a bit of a back room, a maintenance room, and it's where all of our generators are going to be. So the theme overall I think is pretty good. So we're going to put the generators on the side here. Now I think what I'm going to do is have them on display, and wow, getting a little bit of lag there. And then if ever we want to expand the amount that we have in the future, we'll just put them behind here, you know, out of sight. They don't really need to all be on display, but we can put them like this. We're going to have 2 rows of 8, I do believe, if I've counted this out correctly. Let's actually count that. 1, 2, Not that one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's good. I've done that right. So then below these, we're going to put all of our basic universal cables. And you know what? It's a little bit moody around here. Let's put down some torches so we can clearly see what we're doing. It's going to be made worse by all of this darkness around the back of the area. So anyway, these are going to go underneath and on top. So they're going to connect and take out the power from all of these generators. And then once they're in place, we can put these panels on front. In fact, actually, I can show you something here. If I put a panel there like that, and then another one there, if I try and connect the transfer pipe to this, it doesn't get placed down. Whereas with this universal cable, you can actually place it after you've put your panel there. Now, obviously, the pipes work with the panels as well. It's just, I don't know, they're a little bit finicky and touchy about that. So then, once they come around to the back like this, we'll probably pull this off to the side, and it can go around the back like this. I'm thinking actually what I'll do is I'll replace this block here with a panel as well. And I was supposed to put a few more in. This is actually quite tedious and slow building with these things, so I can't do it all too quickly on camera, but let's just place a few so you get a good idea of what this thing is going to look like. So you can really see it coming together now. It's going to look awesome when this room is done. And if we go around the back here, we've got to put the transfer pipes on first, and I haven't actually done this in creative. You guys know I do a lot of my building on the Plot World server first, so I can play around with stuff, and then I bring it over here to the Hermitcraft server. So let's just put a few of these down. I haven't actually seen what it looks like with these behind. I've got a feeling it should look good. I can't see why it wouldn't. Oh, actually, I can think of a problem now. We might want these on top and below as well, because there's going to be a gap. Anyway, let's go around and have a look. Doesn't really make too much of a difference, you know. I guess everything that is behind there is black at the moment. So if I were to fly over here and put some torches on the wall, so that's helped highlight that you can see through the gaps on these items. But you know what? It's really not that bad. And I was thinking, do you know what? I don't want to, take all these cables out and put them back in again. But actually, the cables are the friendly ones, so we could attach these at the top as well, and then we would cover up most of those gaps, which I think is what I'm going to do, although I might change these over for that texture. I'll have to play around and see what looks good. Although we're talking about the most minute of differences, but you can see here that does look a bit funky, so I'll probably change it over to that side. Anyway, we're going to have this on this side, same thing on the other side, and then we're going to connect it up to the thing that stores all the energy, and I've completely forgotten the name of it, and that's going to go at the end of the room right here. Okay, it's finished now, and a moment ago this thing had none of those covers on behind it, and actually looked pretty cool being able to see some of the little details between, but I think it's better that we keep it consistent, and this room looks pretty good. And over here we're going to have our interface for the energy, which is made out of these capacitor banks. Now, I thought that these were iron, and I think these right here were brass, and they're not. If we have a look here, they are energetic alloys and electrical steel. Now this stuff is actually quite hard to make because it means you've got to make other machines. So we need to make an alloy smelter. I think the recipe for that was pretty straightforward, but we have to make coal powder and silicon. So this stuff we can grind manually to get it, and I lost track of the other stuff now. The silicon, what did that use? A crucible furnace or a sag mill, and this is the thing that DMAC told me I should remember, to use a sag mill. So this uses clay, and I think that was flint, and then you can get yourself some silicon. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit tedious. Basically, I've run into a tech tree where I didn't think there was one, which is why I wanted to use this stuff. There is another alternative as well, but after playing around with this in a test world, I thought it was pretty cool. So that's going to go right here. The other thing that I realised needs to go over here is our charcoal as well. So down here we've got the deep storage unit. This is only temporary. What we're going to do is grab another one of these ender chests and this deep storage unit, and then that will go up the top here. So we'll be able to access them from this panel at the end here, as well as our capacitor bank. But for now, I'm going to be occupied doing some crafting, so I guess I will be back with you when that is all done. So I did it. I managed to craft one of them. XP is over here, by the way. And after I crafted one of these, I realised, hang on, I need way more than one. I need to build a whole bunch of these because it's a multi-block structure. So now I'm sitting here with a notepad and pen, writing out all of the ingredients, things that I need, figuring out how to craft this stuff. It's an endless tree of crafting. That's not supposed to make coal, that's supposed to make coal dust. I've done that the wrong way around. And yeah, it's going to take me a while. It really is difficult learning all of these things. But here are the different things we need. I can't remember if I actually showed these already or not, but there's an alloy smelter, there's a sag mill, these took a while to craft, and we've got a pulverizer over here as well. And so what I'm thinking I need now is another little room to go in our corridor where we have all of these different you know, blocks that do things, and they're all hooked up to this power. And this is really cool. I've been using the generators, just chucking in a little bit of charcoal where they need it, which is pretty awesome. But XP has been a sport. Check this out. He dropped off tons of glowstone. That's going to be fantastic because I need that to make some of the stuff that we're making right here. As I said to him, I'm like knee deep in the middle of crafting, and then you realise, oh wait a minute, I don't have any of that. So that's going to be awesome. That's also going to help us with our glowstone for building, because I tend to use that absolutely everywhere. But there you go. Anyway, I'll be back with you when I've finished crafting all of these capacitors. I'm going to try and craft 64 of these. It should be possible. I got way too ahead of myself there. I really did. A whole stack. I just didn't calculate it correctly. I did all the maths, somehow managed to goof it all up. Anyway, I've got 9 of these. Believe it or not, that took me about half an hour to get those. So I guess that's something I'm going to have to do while I'm working on other things around here. We will increase this, but what I wanted to show you, why I wanted to craft quite a few of these, is just how it works. And we're going to install it over here. And I was going to build it sort of hanging over the edge, but that's not actually a good idea. Let's just come in here and I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to have 3 things at the front. That's not what I wanted to do. We want to create a structure like this, and then we get this bar. This is actually the power, so the more power we have in there, this is going to fill up. Now that looks pretty cool like that, but the thing is, once we start adding blocks to the side like this, it moves over to the right hand side. So originally what I wanted to do was have it 3 wide and have the thing in the middle, but then it comes over to this side, which doesn't look too good. So if you want to stick it on one side, what you need to do is just basically put them in a row. I have no idea how long these blocks take to break. I've done all of this in creative mode before. So let's go back here. Let's say we make it come back a little bit. It's going to stay at the front, and then when we add another one on the side, then it disappears from the front. So it means our tank is going to be 1 wide if we want this to appear in the correct position, which is what we're going to do on the edge here. Now that's going to look a little bit nicer now, because we're going to have the tank on one side. That's what I'm going to call this thing. It's not a tank, it's a bank. And then on the other side we're going to have our deep storage unit for charcoal, our ender chest, and the transfer node. Now that might change. We might put something in the middle as well, like some controls, I don't know, wireless redstone, something like that, but I don't know if we even need that at this point. Anyway, it's time for me to hook this thing up. It's going to be awesome. We're going to place this thing on the side there, and I'll show you how it all works in a moment. Okay, this is like the moment of truth now. What we have to do is grab this basic universal cable, bring it across the top here, and put it into our capacitor bank. And there it is. Oh, that's interesting. You see those little blue dots it's made? Well, that's an input. And when I did this before, you had to set them up manually, and this time it's actually created one for us automatically. Maybe I was doing something wrong. But if we have a look here, this thing isn't running quite yet. If we click on this configure thing right here, you have a 3D model of the entire thing, and you can kind of click on it and add inputs and outputs wherever you like, which I think is really cool. Let's get rid of that right there. I think if you press that, it does something. It kind of removes the blocks that are around it. That is a really cool little thing right there. Anyway, right, so we've got that hooked up. Now what we need to do is just attach the items, the pipes. Why do I always get the wrong names for these things? The pipes that are going to send our charcoal into our generators and start making some power. And now they should both be active on either side. Let's have a look. Where is it sending it to first? So that's it. It's generating some, and it's being taken out because you can see there's none there, and it's going into this thing. So if we click on it, we should start to see, and there it is. We have successfully done this. I'm ever so happy. Look at that. We've got our RF coming into here, and now we can use that for other things. So this thing's going to act as a storage bank, and we are storing 45 million right there. Although I can't see if the other number is a 0. I think it is. My cursor is right above it, which is a little bit odd. And that's fantastic. That really is. This is a wonderful system. And what's cool is when this thing fills up, it's not going to accept any more coming in, and it's not going to get wasted by these things. It's just going to sit here storing 500,000 in each one. Let's think about this for a second. So if that one stores 45 million, technically we're also storing another 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 on that side, 16 on that side. So in total that will be 61. Oh, I don't like doing maths on camera, but 61 million in total. That is brilliant. I'm really happy with this. This doesn't look too bad, does it? This lever here, it's a regular vanilla lever. I should use one of those ones in the mods where you can add your own textures. But that will actually lock the income of charcoal from this chest down into the deep storage. I thought that was a good idea, but actually that would be really bad if we were to stop that, because because then that chest would fill up and jungle saplings wouldn't be able to go in there. And I guess what I was thinking is that this lever could stop the items going out of the deep storage. So that doesn't work. Ignore me. All of these have now filled up. They've got like room for 1 or 2 or some on some of them, and they're all generating power. and now the number here is just trickling down ever so slowly, which is really cool, and it's creating tons and tons of RF. But best of all, this room looks really good, and I'm happy with it. Check it out, we have the assembly table up and online. This thing is really cool. We have a bunch of lasers here on the wall that you actually need to get this thing running. So the assembly table doesn't cost a lot at all. It's some diamonds, redstone and obsidian. Same thing for the lasers as well. So it's actually pretty cheap once you've got a quarry up and running. And so this thing is now making a diamond chipset, which we're going to need in the Quarry Plus. And it's running off of RF power, and we've got a couple of generators to make that. And you're probably wondering, why on earth am I using this down here instead of our generator up there? Well, I just wanted to set this up temporary and play around with it. What I've been thinking about is, this thing's all the way up here, but the machines like this one we probably want to have around our items, because this thing's going to use RF power, those things down there are going to use it as well. And my initial thought was to build, another room in our corridor, but then you'd be forever walking back and forth between where all your items are kept and then those machines up there. So we're probably actually going to put them in this area. I'm thinking maybe one of these walls will be replaced. Instead of having deep storage, we'd move them somewhere else and then put a whole bunch of machines on the wall. But for now, I think we're just going to leave them lying around because I've got to get used to them, figure out how many of them I'm going to need, etc. But I'm going to work on this assembly table, get some more things crafted so we can make a Quarry Plus, and then in between episodes I am hoping that we can set that up, dig out some more of the area around here. And by the way, I would like to know, what do you think of how this area looks? Is the darkness and this kind of weird look that we have a little bit annoying, or is it alright? I don't know. I kind of like it, but I think it probably looks bad in videos. But anyway, we have done it. We've got our RF power situation sorted out. We no longer need that for the portals, but that's what we're going to be doing in the next one. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.